So what we have here is WingGambitExample6. We're going to see an idea of developing quickly again. We're going to see a situation where we've dissolved the b4 pawn by playing c4, allowing him to take en passant. And we're going to see not the unfavorable French this time, but we're going to see a situation where black makes a losing move and loses in 13 moves, which happens frequently in this kind of opening. So let's go to our opening, and we'll activate our engine. Wing Gambit, once again, computer recommends something else. Knight to f3, a standard move, gives about equality. Instead we play d5, or d4 rather, and the right response probably is d5, and black doesn't play it. He starts to set up a traditional pulse and type Sicilian. And now, interestingly, the computer is suggesting c4 for white, which is an idea I like a lot. I'm not sure I played it here, but the idea is if en passant, you can take it with a gain of time. Now d5 is what the computer recommends again, probably to prevent that, or b5. Now it says a3. Interesting. Okay. And Stockfish also said a3, so now I play c4. So it's the first time I've seen a computer actually suggest the c4 idea. And the nice part about c4 is if he leaves it there and I push e5, his knight's got unpleasant alternatives. So he pretty much has to take en passant, dissolving his gambited b-pawn, which is going to give us a gain in time with our knight. And again, e5 gets threatened because we can do nice things with our c-knight. Now at this point in time, he needs to play d5 and put himself into an even and unpleasant French type formation. Instead, he attacks my knight. And in attacking my knight, he's gone down 1 point, or a whole pawn actually, a whole point. Now the best move for him, the computer claims, is to move his queen back where it was on the last move, setting up for the next game. However, he makes a drastic losing move, and that's to move his queen over to the king's side. So as you notice, the computer has all of a sudden decided that this move is a disaster. Why is it such a disaster? Would you care to guess? What would you do as white in this situation? Look at all the space that exists on the board in the middle game here. Okay? So, by the way, I didn't get this move right. I had the idea right, but not the move. The move is knight to e2, as the computer says. Knight to e2 creates a catastrophe for his queen. His queen has literally no place to go right here in the middle game. It's going to be trapped. So he has to sacrifice something to avert that. Instead, I was going for the same idea. I pushed. He moved his knight. And then I made the wrong move. My idea was I was going to go knight to e4 to g3, trapping his queen, which leads to an eventual loss of his queen. But I forgot that if I move knight to e4, you can just move f5. And the trap on the queen becomes much harder to deal with. It's still going to win. So it's not a losing situation. So I'm not ashamed that I came up with this, but knight to e2 here is superior as well. Now the computer is all of a sudden saying that knight takes d5 is good too, which was one of my original intentions. So I move knight to e4, and now the computer's demanding he moves f6 or f5, and I've lost a lot of my potential. But what the nice part about this situation is that black's paralyzed. You know, unbeknownst to him, he's clueless as to what's going on. He's forced to move f5. Instead, he castles, knight to g3, and he resigns. So, yes, I forgot to mention this guy wasn't rated 2100 or up. However, he was rated 2000 or up. So, I don't name names. Unfortunately, we all miss things, and he missed this one. So, Moving queen to h5 turned out to be a losing move, strangely, way back when, even before I pushed e5 or anything else. That's the instructional part of this wing gambit and of this kind of position in general.